from my dining table because my wife's using my usual study room place for her work. So here I am, and right now only 3 of you are. Let's see who are the 3 of you guys here. I'll see your names. Okay. Wait. I'll disable from my side first. Okay, so let's look at the comments. Earlier today posted a picture on my community wall to ask guys if anybody has. Hi Victor, thank you for watching. To ask if any of you guys have any questions, to put it up, then I will respond. So thus far only JJ Dennis has responded, and he asks me, what's your take on the 2014 Volkswagen CC 1.8 Sport? Is it worth getting at 50k? The CC right now, at the 2014 CC right now is 50k is thereabouts the market value. Some dealers advertise 49 point whatever, but 50k is thereabouts the market value. So of course, if you can get below 50k, that's a good deal. Or if you get a car at 50k that is of great condition, that's also a good deal. And Volkswagen, yes, there are some question marks regarding the TSI la, DSG la, and all that. But at the end of the day, there are plenty of mechanics that are and service centers that are more than capable of handling Volkswagen cars. All right, and of course, if you go for a 2014 car, this is 7 years old. It still qualifies for EvoClub extended warranty. So yeah, so that you get another year of peace of mind right there. Go guys, get your, if you go for it, go get the car inspected at any of our inspection centers, and if it qualifies, get EvoClub extended warranty. Hi Delbert, hi Terry. Wyman, F30 BMW 320D, okay. To me, it's very okay. That was one of the cars that, before I bought my E39, that was one of the cars that I actually considered, because I was balancing between wanting to really go for the E39 or to buy something a bit more modern. And the 320D was something that I considered because of the fantastic fuel economy of the BMW diesel engine, and the fact that it has great power and torque. The only thing is that with the F30 chassis, the 320D has a bit more nose-heavy handling compared to the 320i. Right? So if you want to really tekan the car around, you want to like go a lot of toge runs, the 320i or 328i may be a nicer choice. But if you do a lot of long distance driving, the 320D will prove more satisfactory. Okay, so let's look at the next comments. All right, Taylor, will Toyota bring back the highest? I don't think they. Well, what's the WAN that they have now? They don't have the highest now, because right now, well, they're still selling the highest one actually. Yeah. So they will of course sell the current gen highest, because the highest it's a very popular car amongst commercial users, very dependable van. So car still on sale, definitely still. Victor Chen, would you recommend a fresh graduate college student to buy a 2020 Honda City? I don't recommend against it, but you do have to bear in mind that a 2020 Honda City, if you are like, I don't know, starting at 20k, 3,000 ringgit, what you call it, salary, may not be such a good idea, because there is one thing that you have to take into consideration when you buy a new car, which is that your depreciation will be very severe in the first 1-2 years. And let's say like if something happens to your finances in this 1-2 years, you will be stuck with that car because the car will depreciate, will lose its value faster than you are repaying the bank. So if you ask me, of course, if your folks are footing the bill, like paying like a sizable chunk of the down payment, you don't have a say in it. You just buy whatever they buy for you. You just drive whatever they buy for you. But if you are doing it entirely on your own, using entirely money you earn yourself, right? You may want to consider something in the used by maybe of a slightly lower budget. So a 2020 Honda City right now is say 80,000-90,000 ringgit. You can easily look at a 2018 or 2017 Honda City. Right? That's still a reasonable choice. Or a 2016 Honda Civic. Not much difference in terms of maintenance. Still a fairly new car, still within warranty, and the first owner would have absorbed a large chunk of the depreciation of you. So so the thing is that when you start off with that, what it means is that, let's say like 1 or 2 years down the road, if you decide that you may need to sell this car, chances are your repayment is on par with the depreciation. You would still have a bit of money to take back, or even better, or at the very least, you don't have to top up to clear your bank loan. Whereas if you buy a new car, unless you're looking to keep it for 7, 8, 9 years, chances are you will have to top up when you sell the car. So you have to think about that. All right. Let me see. Let me just go back. Okay. If any of you guys I miss out your message. Okay. So Victor's one is done. Hi, Otor Tube. Afham Azar, have you driven any FJ Cruiser, Prado, Land Cruiser, or LX 570? I'm afraid not. And what are your thoughts on these cars? Well, if you are I understand that if you're in East Malaysia, those are like the Tauke cars. They are like sort of in a way the kind of Mercedes of that land. But I think the Land Cruiser, it's a name that has elevated itself from very humble beginnings, right? The original Land Cruiser was a rough, tough, go anywhere, do anything kind of vehicle. Whereas then along the way, Toyota has learned to make it more progressively, more premium, more luxurious. They added even more Lexus touches to it. And and they have made it a car that is, and they have pushed it to like some variants have gone to the ringgit 1 million mark. But I think that's the kind of car that the appeal of that car is there. But I would say it's still a very old school kind of SUV. So you won't drive with the kind of agility or the comfort that you get from, say, a Lexus RX, a BMW X5, a Volvo XC90. It will have a slightly rough, very rugged kind of feel. Okay, so let me just come back. Okay, John Raj, what are your thoughts about the Jaguar XJL? Which generation of the XJL are you talking about? So, well, the Jaguar XJL, it's an S Class and 7 Series competitor, but you buy one, right? It creates more. It turns more heads than an S Class or a 7 Series would. Sorry, guys, kids around. Jen! Excuse me, I'll be... Oh, alright, so... Yeah. Delbert, okay, get what you mean. Lee Kai Heng, come and wash my cars, 5 units in Kajang. Okay, later you PM. Toto, your thoughts on the future of Audi in Malaysia? Right now, the Audi Malaysia is actually run from Singapore. They have an office here, but the office takes a lot of directive from Singapore. So a lot of the things here are right now dependent on the network of dealers. And the thing is this, Audi is currently on the same path as Lexus, as Infiniti, fully CBU lineup. So unless they have CKD like Mercedes, BMW, and Volvo, they will continue to be a niche volume player. But the encouraging thing right now is we see them adding the S models and their RS models in the lineup. So you see, the thing is that a base A4 1.4 TFSI, right? They can price it down to the level of a 3 Series, 320, 330i. But the car that arrives is so kosong that when people look at it, right, they would just go ahead and go back to buy a BMW or Volvo or Mercedes-Benz C-Class. That at the end of the day, for the same amount of money, even though locally assembled, offers so much better value. So how do you escape from that situation where your annual sales is already limited by the number of APs? You offer consumers something that the competitors don't have, or something that that at the end of the day, right, an expensive price tag is no longer a barrier. So yeah, so I think for them, they need to look into, if they are continuing their CBO only direction, the S and RS models will play an important role in at least ensuring that they continue to run profitably and to be able to generate continued interest in the brand. Okay, so Saifu, not many car review talk about Mitsubishi Outlander. Actually, I reviewed the Outlander during my time in Carlist. And I also had a couple of videos on the Outlander, so do search on that. Basically, the Outlander, it's a very good product, very competent product, handles very well. And what surprises me is that even the 2-liter engine, I was expecting the car to feel underpowered, but it doesn't. It drives well. The handling is fantastic. Very, very good accommodations. The main weakness of the Outlander, and something that until today I cannot understand why, is that the car does not come built in with rear aircon vents. And to compound that problem, the placement of the front vents are in a position where it's very difficult to direct air to the back of the cabin. So that car really has the case of that car is severely hampered by its aircon blower setup. But the good news is that there's an aftermarket solution whereby you can install a roof-mounted blower behind the driver's seat, whereby there's a fan in there that pulls cool air from the front section of the cabin and directs it to the back. So that is something that Mitsubishi Motors Malaysia actually offered on their website before, and I strongly recommend that any prospective Outlander owner would go for it. Okay. Ting Tiam Wan. Hi Con, E90 325i 2011 or Lexus IS 250 2007. Well, the IS 250, here's a funny story, right? Back when HP was hunting for his Lexus IS, I told him, bro, looking at the price of a Lexus IS, you can get a same age BMW E90 for half the money. But he still went ahead and got the Lexus. And my observation is that the BMW will give you sportier handling. But the Lexus interior holds up better. The Lexus is more comfortable. with the Lexus, you don't have things like melting plastics, that kind of thing. And the Lexus is just better built. The thing is that, but the BMW, the E90, and especially if you are used to slightly more modern cars, the E90 has a far better infotainment system compared to the Lexus. The Lexus that HP has a very, very rudimentary audio setup that if you're used to having a screen in your car, that may not be something that you fancy. But I would say that the Lexus is very smooth, very refined, very comfortable, handles well, and even though the BMW handles better, it's not to a margin that makes the Lexus so far inferior to pangka it out of the equation. Okay, so I think between the Lexus and the E90, to me, really is a matter of taste. But the other thing is that when it comes to service and maintenance, a lot of people will assume that the BMW will be costlier to maintain, and that may be true, but the gap is a lot smaller than you may imagine, because there are more. There are plenty of BMW specialists around, for one. All right, and even though you don't really need a specialist to properly service a Lexus, let me remind you that brand new Lexus parts, even though the Lexus should be more durable than the BMW, right? New Lexus parts are not cheap either. You can ask HP how much the bill was his IS recently when he got involved in this accident. So I think both the E90 as well as the IS250, they are both great choices. But personally, for the E90, I would prefer to go for the 323 rather than the 325, because the E90, for me, the M Sport suspension setup is too harsh for day-to-day use. I would prefer the 323. And the 323, even I tested one before I bought my E39, and I felt that even though the 2.5 engine is detuned, but the performance is still more than acceptable. The straight six engine revs beautifully all the way to its red line. So if I were to ever pick up an E90, it will be a 323i. All right, so wow, I'm getting more and more left behind, man. Okay, Henry Seal, fresh grad driving a CX-5. Not to say spend 150k, but it's all right. Hello, Alex Lee, sporty car end of the year. What are your thoughts on the 86 versus a Renault Megane Cup? It's a very interesting comparison, but it really both are good choices. It really depends on what you're looking for. The 86 gives better, more natural balance, all right, as you go around the corners. But the thing is that to enjoy the 86, to enjoy the full potential of the 86, you have to drive it hard, right, to get the tail to slide out and all that, and to recover from the slide. The Renault Megane is it's a car that I think the engineers did more to accomplish what it has, because you see the 86 started off with the right ingredients. All right, it started off with boxer engine, low center of gravity, rear wheel drive, all independent suspension, front double wishbones. So it has all the right ingredients to succeed. Whereas the Megane RS, the engineers have a front wheel drive, turbocharged engine. All right, these are ingredients for top steer, for one thing which they had to overcome, and secondly, there's also the torsion beam, which tends to give you a handling disadvantage, and the Renault engineers overcame all that. So, but as a driver, I personally would prefer the 86, but I think there are quite a lot of 86s around on the road, so the Megane will turn a bit more heads, I guess. But either way, I don't. It's to me that those two are really a question of choices. Hi Thomas, nice to see you. A question of of preference, all right, over of one over the other. Okay, so okay, wait all right. Delbert, why you bought your Ford S-Max? You could have bought a better car such as X70 and others. Delbert, let me tell you this. In my Ford S-Max, when I see Proton X70, I floor the accelerator, and every time the X70 shrinks behind me. There is no way. The S-Max out handles and out accelerates the X70 in any given situation. But the reason why I got the S-Max is because I have 3 adults in my house, right? Me, my wife, my sister-in-law, and that time when I bought the S-Max, my second daughter was coming, so I needed a car that would fit 2 child seats and 3 adults, and will not struggle on the highway on my balik kampung trips during Chinese New Year. So the S-Max serves that purpose because it has 3 individual rear seats that allows me to fit 2 child seats at the back and still have more than enough space for a 3rd adult in the middle room. All right, and the fact that it has a 240 horsepower EcoBoost engine means that my height on the highway, even when I load the car full with 5 packs luggages, the car does not struggle. And the handling of that car means that, when I see bends on the highways, I don't have to slow down too drastically. And if in a situation where a car comes and or in a situation of an emergency, I can confidently take evasive action without worrying, that the car will lose control. Yeah, so that is why I chose the S-Max over other choices. Okay, Saharuddin Anwar, planning to buy Porsche Macan, maintenance and market value, looking at 2015 Recon or 2014 used. I would say go for the Macan S 2014 used lah. I mean, if you are really shopping for a Macan, I don't think you are strapped for cash. The Macan is, for maintenance, right? The Macan shares its platform with the Audi Q5, so it's I don't think it's a scary car to maintain. Porsches are known to be durable, all right, but of course, replacement of parts don't come cheap, and if you want to save your maintenance costs, you need to be prepared to do your homework. You need to be prepared to sit down, and sometimes when you determine there are certain parts that come across as expensive, you may need to search and see which is the corresponding Audi or Volkswagen group part that would fit into your car and do the job for a fraction of the price. So I don't think it's a scary car to go for it if you're looking at at that price point. Okay, so Delbert, I'll shorten my what do you call it, my explanation. Anthony Tan, hi Anthony. E46 318i 2.0. When it comes to the E46 and the E90, simple answer, always go for the 6-cylinder engines. The 318i 2.0, I've heard a lot of unpleasant stories of the 2.0 Valvetronic engine. So, and since you are buying used anyway, a 318i versus a 325i or 320, 323, right? At the used car market now makes next to no difference. So, go with the E46, go for a 6-cylinder engine. Back then in the official lineup for E46, right, they only had the 318 2.0 and the 325. Okay, with the M54 engine, same family as my E39. There are some great imports, 320i with a 2.2 engine. All right, you can look at those, or if you look at the pre-facelift models with the M52 TU engine, you can look at the 320i. That would be the 2-liter 6-cylinder, or the 323i, which is the 2.5. All right, or the pre-facelift 1.9 318i is okay in terms of reliability, but a bit underpowered. Derek Eraser, can we legally register East Malaysia number plate here in West Malaysia? Yes, you can. But legally, if you bring your car to West Malaysia, you just have to register West Malaysia road tax. Excuse me, other. All right. Tiban Naidu, new Accord new gen comparing Camry. I learned English from your sentences. Personally, I think the Accord has the more modern engine, but I'm not so sure about boosting 1.5 liters to 200 horses in the D segment. To be honest, I think at the D segment you should. I would still prefer to have at least 2 liters of capacity, turbo boosted or not. Speaking from a purely handling perspective, I definitely would prefer the Camry over the Accord, but it's simply because the TNGA platform with the rear double wishbone makes the Camry handle so well. The problem with the Camry is that when you take the Camry on a Genting run and you see how well the car handles, it then exposes the roughness and the age of its 2.5 liter engine. So so that's the slight downfall of the Camry lah. But the thing is that to me these days I'm always more biased to a large capacity engine. So if you talk to me 2.5 NA versus 1.5 turbo, I would always pick the 2.5 NA as my choice. And the fact that the Camry has rear double wishbones, to me it seals the deal lah. Alright, so wait 50k budget, what second-hand SUV would you recommend? Okay, it's mudah time. Can you buy a CX-5 for 50k right now? The first choice that comes to my mind is CX-5 lah. But there's also the question of what is your, do you have a year in, what purpose are you buying the SUV for? Do you want 5-seaters? Do you want 7-seaters? Well, the CX-5 has not dipped to the 50,000 ringgit price point yet, but I see some examples being listed at 50,000. Lowest price CX-5 CBU, 55,000 ringgit. So that's something you may consider. All right, if you're looking at a practical choice, of course, there's always the Honda CR-V. I'm sure there are CR-Vs that are going at 50k already, but the question is how old, right? So CR-V, a 50k CR-V buys you the 2009 model, 10-12-year-old car. So that is a bit old, to be honest. So maybe you want to up your budget a little to 60k. That will give you a wider range of options. Yeah. But I think if you're looking at 50k budget, the CX-5 or CR-V to up it a bit more and go for a CX-5. All right. Manvin Singh, why Malaysia not bringing Ford Focus anymore? Well, they have for one, they have stopped making the Focus in Thailand. So if you want to bring the Ford Focus, it'll be CBU from Europe, and that will make the car very, very expensive. All right. And let me see. Wow. More and more already. Okay. Thomas, why HP buy Lexus? You gotta ask him, man. The man. Civic FD versus TNGA Corolla. FD and double wishbones at the back long time ago. Even the Tongtao Civics had, Tongtao means the iron, double wishbones front and multi-link rear. Civic FD versus TNGA Corolla. Wow, good question. The Corolla, I think handling wise they are well matched, but the Corolla strikes a better balance in ride quality. Okay, the Corolla is more comfortable, and but I think performance wise the FD has a bit of an edge because it had the option of a 2-liter engine, whereas the TNGA Corolla only has a 1.8 and a CVT. So overall, most of us you would still probably find the Corolla, the Civic FD nicer to drive, but I think the Corolla's body movements would be slightly more fluid in comparison to the Civic FD. But the differences I think was quite minor. All right. Winton, is it wise to buy a Polo 1.6 as a first car? I don't think it's a bad choice, but maybe you want to look at a used one. They are going for very, very cheap now. Don't really like the interior of the previous IS series, Anthony Tan. E9325 oil and filter change cheaper than IS250. I am not surprised at that, to be honest. Do you think HM Core, do you think it's worth 7K to upgrade C-Class C300 facelift to adaptive cruise control? It is if you find it useful. Adaptive cruise control is something that I won't use. Okay, I rarely use, or maybe because none of my cars have it, right? But I think if given a choice, I will pay for it, simply because having it there gives me the option of using it. 7K is not a big jump. It's not a big difference in a C-Class price when you factor it over even a 5-year loan, 6-year loan, 9-year loan. And this comes into play when you resell the car, because having this feature what it means is that it makes your car more appealing in the used market. So it may not boost your resale value, but when you sell your car right next to another one without the adaptive cruise control at the same price, the next buyer, chances are, will pick your car over the one without. Urgent please, is X50 worth the price? Yes. Frenzy Austin, if you are a Hyundai salesman, how would you sell the Elantra and Sonata to potential customer? Wow, this one headache. Elantra is especially difficult because I think Sonata, I can still make a case for it, for its design, for its interior build quality, because the interior of the Sonata really feels expensive. It feels luxurious inside, higher than grade than even the Passat. But the Elantra, the problem is that the car has fantastic design, interior design is nice, but the build quality is, the choice of materials, it's not much better than the segment norms. Definitely not better than the Mazda 3. And the engine on paper to me is underwhelming. So I don't even know how to sell the Elantra, right? I may just choose to steer the customer to the Santa Fe instead. Cation, X3 2014 F25, Audi Q3 2.0 2013. What do you think of these two cars? Both good choices. Each have their own strengths, and X3 F25 I think is available only as the 20i and the 23. So if you want diesel power, the F25 gives you that choice. Q3 2.0 came with a 211 horsepower engine, so it has the power advantage over the BMW. BMW has the slight advantage in terms of having available workshops to service. But I mean, at the end of both these cars, right, closely matched, and choosing one over the other, right, it's once again it boils down to really the condition of the car, right, how well the previous owner took care of it. If you're looking at differentiation in terms of their driving, I would say that BMW's X-Drive system. Now, because both these cars are all-wheel drive as standard, BMW's X-Drive system is sporty bias. All right, whereas Audi's Quattro system is a more grip bias thing. So actually, if you drive an X-Drive versus Quattro back to back, the X-Drive in normal tarmac actually handles better than the Quattro. Yeah, but Quattro may be more secure in bad weather driving. Passat B8.5 against current Toyota Camry. Which would you pick in terms of handling, drivability, and comfort? Passat. Handling RAV4 X70, RAV4. Alright. Will new facelifted Camry 2021 come with a Thailand spec dynamic force engine? I hope they do, because they already brought it they already put it into the RAV4. Alright, and they've already pushed the Camry's price to that 180, 190 range. Why not push it higher and give it the best engine that you can get? And honestly, I think the dynamic force engine will really make the Camry a much better car than what it is today. Robinson, fresh grads as their first car, reliability and maintenance, especially the earlier ones, of course it is okay. But just do your homework, all right? Know all the quirks, join all the 86 online forums, groups, all right? Hang out with friends who drive an 86, know the issues with this car, all right? And do your homework. Basically you just need to do your homework with this car. You need to know what are the major maintenance items that you have with this car, and be prepared for it, and you should be fine. And the thing about a car like the 86 is this: the depreciation of an 86 versus a HRV is a lot slower. So if at any time along the way you decide to sell your 86, you will still be able to recoup a large chunk of your money. If you are a good enough seller, you may even make a profit. Dixon time, 50k to Subaru XV. Yes, that's a good idea. Outlander or X-Trail, I'm searching for 7-seater SUV below 160k. I think I'm a bit biased towards the Outlander's handling. All right. In terms of practicality, I think they are well matched. But maybe you will want to consider the X-Trail because of its rear air conditioning system. Use Freelander 1 or Hyundai Santa Fe, what to look out for by Sriram. I'm not that familiar with Land Rovers, but I know you have a lot of things to look out for in a Freelander 1 and not many things to look out for in a Santa Fe. The Santa Fe, every time, right, consistently, it is always Hyundai's best product. All my experience test driving Hyundai cars, right, I have never been disappointed by the Santa Fe. Hyundai's other cars are a bit of a mixed bag, but Santa Fe is always where Hyundai seems to put their A game on. And it is a car that if you are shopping at that segment at that price, it's a no-brainer. It's always a good choice. Use Nissan Frontier versus Mitsubishi Storm. Budget 25k. Both are quite rare already, but maybe the Storm, I guess, because if you must have automatic, then the Frontier didn't have auto, right? Just remember that. The Storm was the one that pioneered automatic transmission in the pickup truck market in our market, and it has a more car-like behavior compared to the Frontier. The Frontier is still a bit more, rugged of a truck. V40 year 2015 most common problems. It's definitely okay to buy. What are the most common problems? This, to be honest, I've not heard of severe problems with the V40, but well, once again, as now V40, I have not heard of severe problems, but of course, I think if you go back to Volvo dealerships, and especially if this car is, yeah, it's the cost of servicing, and and when parts in the V40, the V40 it had a Ford Focus platform, but it had a Volvo engine. It had a 5-cylinder engine, so that is something that's really nice to drive, I would think. Yeah, but no, I've not heard of major problems with the V40, to be honest. Cohelan, Tiguan or Subaru XV? Depends on your usage. The Tiguan is a more modern car, all right. If you it has a much better interior than the XV. The XV is recommended if you have rough usage in mind, all right. If your daily commutes involve a lot of rough roads, then I highly recommend the XV. But in almost all other situations, I would recommend the Tiguan. What do you think about the Passat B7? Try to go for a later batch car, right? It's a nice car, but as usual, you have to watch out for some of the typical Volkswagen problems, the DSG mechatronics. But I think most cars would have had it resolved under warranty already. The B7 is a fantastic highway cruiser. If you're a regular long distance driver, B7 is a great car. Fuel efficiency is fabulous. I remember once upon a time when I had a test car, I drove it KL, JB and back without needing to refuel. So fantastic fuel economy. John Ang, CX-5 2.2D or 2.5 turbo. Previously I would have recommended the diesel, but the thing is that now the diesel does not come with all-wheel drive. Between these two, I would take the turbo. The problem with the CX-5 2.5 turbo is that it upsets the natural handling balance of the car. So think of it this way: the chassis of that car was calibrated for the smooth responses of an NA engine, and now suddenly you throw in a high output turbo engine. The behavior of that car totally changed. The brakes are probably still catered for the base 2.5 liter model, but the car has so much more outputs to contend with. But I would say, as an effective long distance cruiser, the way the CX-5 turbo regains speed, let's say like when you're driving on the fast lane, and suddenly some car just crawl into your lane and then crawl back out. You need to regain all that lost speed. The CX-5 is very, very effective in regaining lost speed very quickly. So yeah, and the fact that it has all-wheel drive with that kind of torque, definitely CX-5 turbo. If it's the 2 liter, the 2.5 NA front-wheel drive, not a problem. All right, but with that kind of torque, I've driven the 2.2 diesel with front-wheel drive. That engine, the 2.2 diesel, to me, I say I must have it with all-wheel drive or I wouldn't get it. Fiat Punto Cabrio or Peugeot 207cc? Punto. My vote is the Punto. Engine choice for you here: Banana V6 or Camry 2.5? Camry lah. Mazda 3 interior or Hyundai Elantra interior? AYYY. Okay. Design wise, I think they are both quite alright. The Hyundai Elantra's design can challenge the Mazda 3. The thing is, the build quality is where the Mazda still has the advantage. The Hyundai, you can see, still uses some very average grade materials in certain parts of the Elantra, whereas the Mazda 3 is consistently high grade along all touch points. New 2021 X Trail. I haven't really seen it to make a comment. Mazda CX-8 or second-hand GLC 200. Do you need 7-seaters? The GLC 200 is very underrated. I like the GLC 200 because, well, when I reviewed the pre-facelift one, right, it was because it had the comfort suspension, so it rides very nicely, and it was rear-wheel drive, so the handling was pretty decent. It drives nicely, so I would pick the GLC 200 to be frank, but the CX-8 may be a more complete package for you to consider. Raymond Pang, Passat CC 3.6 or E60 530i. The 530i is very, very cheap now to go for. Only thing to look out is with the E60 active steering. Passat CC 3.6, very rare, much rarer than the E60. So so I think the Passat CC turns more heads versus the E60. Rarer, may preserve its value better because the E60 530i values now are just like, like rock bottom. It's cheaper than the E60 530i now. Legit, it is cheaper than E39. So between these two, I would choose the Passat CC. 09 Suzuki Swift. Good buy. It is a good buy, but beware, parts are not cheap at all. So nice to drive, fantastic to drive. It gives you that sensation, right, of like how it's that feeling, right? It's how it puts together simple elements. All right, the Swift is a very mechanically basic car, but Suzuki has made all the basic elements so well refined. It drives so smoothly and so beautifully. It's a bit like how perhaps how your mother would cook like a simple plate of rice with kangkong and sambal. Simple elements, but taste so good, right? The rice tastes so sedap, the kangkong is so nice, the sambal. Simple elements, but each element honed to perfection. That is how I always felt Suzuki approached the way of their car building. And yeah, definitely good car, but parts are not cheap. All right, you may be shocked at the at some of the parts prices. Arteon, Falcon 88 asks Arteon or C200. Arteon for me. If your next car will be an E60 M5 or F10 M5 or the earlier gen. Between these two, I prefer the F10 over the E60. I like the E60's engine better. The V10 is legendary. I'm not so sure about the SMG gearbox, to be frank. Yeah, so to me, I'll go for the F10. Use 330i M Sport. Which generation are you talking about? F30 or the G20? If G20, I say approach with caution because the 330i M Sport is very, very harsh riding in the G20. Even the F30 also, the ride is still quite firm, but the G20 it's very harsh. So yeah, it's a good buy, but trade with caution. Be sure you can deal with the ride lah. Okay, Dave, Harrier or CX-5? CX-5 lah for me. I mean, Harrier is the highest segment product, but CX-5 drives better, feels no less premium than the Harrier to me. Ahmad Ilham, is the Proton Exora still relevant? It is to people who must buy a brand new 7-seater MPV at a budget, yet still spacious. So yeah, of course the car feels dated, but I see that there is a market for this. Sri Ram again. Mazda 6 206 to 208 model versus Peugeot 407 budget 20k. Mazda 6 for me lah, Mazda 6. X50 flagship versus X70 executive or premium. Depends what you want. I think if you need the space, of course the X70 it still gives you the better choice. But it's difficult to look past the X50. So unless you really want to be seen in a higher segment car, maybe you really need the extra, size and bulk. You regularly do long distance, then perhaps you will still want the X70. But in most cases, I think the X50 it's better. Buntang, Fortuner versus CX-8. Now the Fortuner is a leather frame car. So unless you're looking for rough usage, now granted the current Fortuner is very comfortable and very refined relative to its predecessor, but unless you're looking at rough usage, the CX-8 will be the superior option every time. The man, here's a challenge: name an uglier car than the BMW iX. Wow. God, I can't think of any lah. Okay, Sarwin, Honda Civic prototype 2021. I think Honda is following the usual cycle with the Civic. All right, every 2 generations it will be a big leap, and then it will be an evolutionary progression, a big leap, evolutionary progression. So this is a typical pattern that the Civic has always followed, and I can see why Honda is doing it. All right, the current Civic FC has been a great success, but the thing is, I think Honda saw that they can't really, go like another big crazy jump right now with this generation. So it was inevitable and natural that the Civic that follows the FC would have been a conservative design. Do you think used car hidden fees should be banned, since it gives buyers the false thought that they could afford the car? Iman, I'll get to your... Okay, wait. First, Iman asked Golf Mark 6. Well, the Golf Mark 6 is... The twin-charge engine has known longevity issues, but when it works, it works. That car is fast. And I think used prices for the Golf Mark 6 is very, very attractive now. So get one car, if you're looking at it, get a car that check the warranty history of the car, see that the car is fully serviced, preferably if the previous owner has done an engine change under warranty. That will be perfect. All right, and change the mechatronic pack, change the clutch pack, yeah, and always be on top of things. Yeah. And have the car serviced regularly. All right. Yeah. Just don't expect it to be a brain-free, operation like a city of yours, and you will roughly be fine. Do you think used car hidden fees should be banned, since it gives buyer the false thought that they could afford the car? It's a very difficult thing to say, because actually for this, right, I would instead advise consumers, when you shop for a used car, before you put the deposit, ask the dealer what are your fees. Because like when I bought my car, I asked them straight up, okay, this is the price, what are all your... I straight away told them what is my maximum. I told them what's my budget with insurance, with on the road and all that. Are you okay with that price? So I think it's really down to the consumer to think for yourself, right? To negotiate with the dealer and say, look, this is what I have, and are you okay with that? So as long as you have to tell the dealer up front, you have to ask what are the fees before you sign. All right. Because at some point or rather, the dealer will have to disclose it in an invoice that that there are hidden fees and all that there are what processing fee and all that. So I think the onus really is on us to ask the dealer, hey, what are your fees and you see that final price, you negotiate from there. That's it. User friendly user. E39 or E46. Depends on your taste. I chose the E39 because I've always liked the E39. But the E46 is a good choice too. Plenty of options available in the market. But of course, E46 values are slightly higher than the E39. For some reason, the 3 Series always commands a better price than the 5 Series for all model generations. Can 5, Can V. Stage 1 of 520i, long term will be reliable. Well, if you want to tune your car and still have reliability, I would recommend DNA tuning by Mark Yap. So his tunes are very conservative and should still give your car plenty of years of headache-free ownership. Of course, if you want ultimate reliability, keeping it stock is the best lah. All right. Okay, Raymond Pang. Only thing concerned with the Passat 3.6 is the DSG. If I am not mistaken, the Passat 3.6 uses a torque converter gearbox, Is it DSG? But it's a wet clutch, so it should be the more reliable of the DSGs. Thoughts on the 04 Renault Scenic Mark II? Wow. Renault Scenic Mark II. Interesting choice. Let me just find how are these guys doing in the used market? Renault Scenic Mark II. There's one here selling for 14,500. A 2005 car. It's an interesting car. I would say Renault is their cars are actually pretty reliable, but it's just that not a lot of mechanics know how to handle them properly. So so that's why there are a lot of cars that don't have very good. They are not in the best of condition, but they are fine cars. And this is from what I see, this is a great looking MPV actually, a very interesting left field choice. Looks very spacious to me. 3 individual seats. Great for a family. Derek, are you playing Dude, Where's My Car with Thomas? Not this Friday. And I just appeared on Thomas's show. Of course, it will be a pleasure to appear again. But I think maybe Thomas will want to have a bit more variety with his audience. Aiden, G20, M340i or new 430i? M340i, man, always more cylinders. User-friendly user, 320i E90, go for the 323 or the 325. Fiat Multipla looks is on par with the iX. I actually prefer the Multipla. Theophilus Chin is here. Do you think Mitsubishi will become a crossover and SUV brand? I think they are on their way there already. What's the difference between GM gearbox and ZF? From what I know, right, old BMW used to source their gearbox from GF and from GM, and then they switched to ZF. The ZFs have better, have better shifting. They have better programming, but the GM gearboxes are known to be more durable. Yeah. Next gen W260 63S with hybridized 2.0 turbo. does not sound attractive to me. John Ang, day-to-day driving usage, DNA tuning, yes, yes. I recommend it. I'm using it in my E39. Very happy with it. Irshad Ilham, E60 or E90, which is more reliable? They are both the same. Both of them have the same issue with active steering, so that's a weak spot of the car. But otherwise, they are both reliable if you manage a preventive maintenance well. Can't we? Because my friend did a 520i F1 stage increase from 184 to 240. Wow, that's a lot of boost, man. That's very, very heavy boost. And I wouldn't have boosted that much, to be honest. I would have, from 180, I would probably go for 19. I would actually be happy to go for like 200 or 210, right? 240 is quite heavy. Okay, Buntang, thanks for answering. Fortuner versus CX-8. Is a pre-reg Tiguan a better buy versus a new Mazda 3 hatchback or new CX-30? Well, the Tiguan is once. Yeah, actually, I would go for the Tiguan, to be frank. Oh yeah, of course, pre-reg Tiguan definitely better than. I mean, the Mazda 3 and CX-30 is nice, but if you're talking about pre-reg versus new, you are dealing with less depreciation buying pre-reg than you are buying new. But of course, the Mazda 3, the Mazdas, either way, Mazda 3 or CX-30 probably gives you better after sales experience. The man said 240 horsepower is okay for 520i. 528 runs 245. Yes, as Kanvi answered, the engine block may be the same, but the internals are different. So when you boost a 520i to run on 528i outputs, you are stressing the engine more than it would be in a 528i. Okay. Pavita Kosa, what are your thoughts on the new Fortuner 2.8? I think it's great that they introduced the option of the Fortuner 2.8. But the Fortuner is I think something that is a good. It's a much improved product from the predecessor. A lot more refined, a lot more comfortable. But of course, a monocoque type SUV would always be more comfortable any time of the day. All right, but the Fortuner is something that's good if you have rough usage in mind, but you still want a certain degree of comfort for day-to-day use. So it's good if, let's say, like you always have a lot of site visits, estate visits, but you still need but at the same time you still want to use the same car for your family and personal use. Yeah, the man, what internals though? Yeah, your pistons, your con rods, the turbo. Hi Bobby. Well, the turbo probably, but it's the piston, the con rod, the valve, and all this. So yeah, so the internals, the strength of the internals are different. So just now, who is that? Aiden, which best 3 Series to get now apart from the M340i? You like the 3 Series with the M Sport package. Now I have not driven the 330e, but personally, if I would go for the 320i because the 320i's ride is much more livable day to day with than compared to the 330i. Yet it is the performance is still very, very acceptable. Daru just now asked me, have you been doing any exercise at home? I try to jog. I try to go for jogging around my neighborhood. Yeah. Bobby says buy 330i and throw away the suspension. That works too. This one is from my WhatsApp. Gary says he's listening to me on on WhatsApp. So Style 66 staggered at 2,000. So Gary is a friend of mine who just bought an E39. Now he's shopping for rims because like what I faced earlier, his E39 with the stock 16-inch wheels. All right, and the Uncle rims, which is fine. I wanted to keep the problem is that the 16-inch wheels have limited tire choices. So that's why I upsized to 17. But Gary, if you choose Star 66 staggered, if you choose a staggered size, remember that the rear tires is a very rare size. So that's something for you to think about. 2K is also a bit high in pricing. So I got mine 5 rims for 1,900 ringgit. Square setup. All right. So what suspension would you recommend? Derek Eraser for the G20. Actually, if you can get a set of the 320i suspension, the comfort level suspension, it will be good. Hi, Azlan Din. 2010 Persona used since new 300,000. Only used once a week. Intend to spice up either by engine transplant or full overhaul with balancing. You can try a Maybach transplant, or full overhaul would be more. Well, you don't have to go through the JPJ endorsing and all that lah. So definitely better if you can overhaul rather than. Bobby Ang, 520. Is that okay? Bobby Yang says there's a 640i coupe for sale at 130k. She can't consider this. Bobby, we need to discuss about my salary after this. The man, oh yeah, brother, you still have your Wajaga? Yes, it's still with me, but open for offers if anybody is taken. KY, give us a reason not to buy the 640i coupe. Is this KY gun? If it's Aiden Tan, how much Bobby pay you? This one PNC lah, cannot disclose in public, but pays me enough to pay for my now lah. Okay, next. Not sure it's reliable. 520i boost to 240 horses. I don't think so. I think 200 to 210 is quite safe, but 240 is kind of pushing it. I psycho him to buy car. Of course, both of us have to go find more money together, lor. Okay, let's do it, bro. Let's do it. As in the finding more money part first, 2010 Panamera S or new Sonata. Wow. Okay, let's put it this way. If you are buying a new Sonata, right? Are you also at that 200k? In terms of maintenance, because they may be same in price, but a 2010 Panamera S costs a lot more to maintain than a brand new Sonata. Of course, if you can afford the maintenance, go for the Panamera S, right? Because in terms of depreciation, it's probably at the new Sonata. 2010 Panamera is the price of an Elantra. That's 160k. Okay, but still bear in mind, back then when the Porsche, when the first gen Porsche Cayenne dropped to the 170, 180 price bracket, a lot of Accord and Camry buyers went into it. And then when the first workshop, the owners, the cars got stuck in the workshop. So you got to be careful on that lah, right? You can't get hit by 3,000-4,000 deals quite easily. Bobby stealing the show. Come and support my brother. Thank you. Actually, like you are, Bobby, I also thought I want to do 10 minutes, but now end up 1 hour show. Hello, bro. What languages can you speak? I can speak BM. I can speak Quechua, a bit of Mandarin, a bit of Hakka. But of course, the Mandarin is shit. Sorry guys, hang on. Jen, come. Yay, okay. Poor girl just woke up. Cons Bahasa Malaysia is better than half racist. But I tried to do some BM videos over the last 1 year, right? But somehow the views are not quite as good as my English videos. So if time permits, of course, I want to do some more BM videos, because I think as Malaysians, mastery of Bahasa Melayu or Bahasa Malaysia, right? It's our national language. I think it's something that we should embrace. And I love speaking in BM. I actually enjoy speaking in BM with a lot of my Malay friends. That clock behind me needs a battery. Actually, the clock is dead. It's a mechanical clock. Is there a better option than XC90 T8 with the same price point? There is not a better all-rounder than the XC90 T8, to be frank. All right, the X5 has better handling, but it's not. To me, it's not nearly as good an all-round package as the XC90. 2011 Audi S5 a good buy? It is. Are you proud to be Malaysian? Of course. KY plans for 2021. Well, to stay alive is the plan, bro. Nitikon Chian. Yeah. Debating between spending more on my Scenic or save up for a facelift Mark III Megane. Dah kena racun. Then buy your Mark III Megane lor. Faizal Saleh, BM video kena banyak lawak. Mungkin juga ya, aku ni terlampau serius kala-kalanya. Bobby survive and go into 2022. Yeah. You know that I was saying, right? This year we will be lucky if we can survive 2020. If we have a Chinese New Year for 2022. What do you think of the exterior design of City 2020 versus City 2019? Why V-spec of 2020 got kompang rims? Okay, I have no comments about the rims, but I think exterior design of the City, right? I still think the 2010 City GM2 is the best, and the subsequent two cities are really just following in that path, trying to be, trying to live up to that setting, to that that hype. Uh, 2021 plan, let's get Con and drop the top. Jose, drive 3,000 km here, buy new or used? Of course used. Of course used. Con don't drop top like Bobby and Bing said. Yes. Is my ethnicity Han? I think so. What was your unattainable dream car as a kid? You see, here's the funny thing, I've never really had an unattainable dream car. My dream car when I was a kid was a Mitsubishi Evo. So, well, then I suppose then it became the M5, the E39 M5, which has now become a semi-unattainable car. Bobby, why Con don't like drop top? I don't like drop top, but well, I don't know. I still don't have that urge of getting one. I have a list of other cars that I want to get, before I go for a drop top. But if I were to go for a drop top car, right, what I would look at probably would be, what I would really dream of would be a Porsche Speedster, maybe a 9, what do you call it? a Spider like Thomas, right? Or a Ferrari 550 Barchetta. Unobtainable, not unattainable. Yeah, you got that right. Actually, not many people sell. Han, Korean, Japanese, Mongolian, all same. Yeah, all view the world in widescreen format. Please, Jaya, are you serious? You have an E39 M5 manual you will sell for best price. Name your list of other cars, please. The other car that I'm keen to one day experience actually is the Legacy, like the one that you have, but the sedan version. That is something that I actually have considered one day. Yeah. True. 180k 180k casual. Well, Subaru Legacy is one that I definitely want to experience. But yeah, what else would I want? I would. Hello, Mr. Lochin. Hello, Con from Down Under. All round double wishbone versus multi-link, which one's superior? I think double wishbones. Suiho, prior to getting a S-Max, do you consider others? Or is that the D segment MPV available then? The other MPVs I considered were the Charan, were the Mazda 5, were the BMW 2 Series Tourer. Yeah, that's about it. Actually, the Santa Fe also, actually. Yeah. Because my criteria was must fit three adults and 2 child seats, must not be underpowered, must have at least decent driving dynamics, and yeah. So of course the S-Max topped the list. Actually, the funny thing is I was actually looking at the previous gen S-Max. The first gen S-Max was going for about 30k 40k. I figured at that time, right, I just sold my Persona and I took that up. It's I barely had to fork out any extra money. But the thing, but yes, but this deal came in and at a fairly unbelievable price, twice the price. Excuse me, guys. Yes, what you want to eat? You want this? You want this biscuit? Okay, go and take bowl. Sorry, guys. This is balancing work with fatherhood. Yeah. Auto foam. Nitikon Chan asked about auto foam. I have it in my Waja, and to me, no regrets. Why not F10 M5 now? Why not indeed? Oh, sorry guys. Okay. E39 M5 better investment than a depreciating ringgit. Oh, you got that right. Yeah. The Waja's NVH really is his biggest weak point. It's out of my 3 cars, that's the only car that I have trouble putting my kids to sleep in. Yeah. Hold your bowl properly. Okay, where's the clip? Okay. Yes. Okay, close. So how's working from home doing for everybody? I'm curious because working from home with kids, headache, man. Just now, Nitikon asked about which package that I went for. That time, okay, the package in my Waja honestly was a complimentary package in exchange for a write-up on auto. It was I think the comfort package. Yeah. Ah, ah, yes, yes. So we've got 50 people, 50 viewers right now and 20 likes. Thank you all guys for joining us. So no further questions. I shall end the session. And yeah, thank you all guys for tuning in. Nice, yeah, MCO. What are the list of cars you want to buy before drop top? I think right now the top one in my mind would be actually what I would want is maybe to upgrade my E39 to a 530i, preferably or an M5, to go for the Legacy. Yeah. Yes. If there's one like stratospheric, if there's a stratospheric car to go for, would be keen for a Bentley. But that's like high up there, yeah. Mitsubishi Evo, yes, Mitsubishi Evo. Another car would be the BMW E28. I know that day you said the E28 was ugly, but that car is a bit special to me because that was the first car that I recognized as a what do you call it? Yeah, as a BMW. Bentley Continental GT. New Supra. Not bad, huh? And if I must put a modern, right, a modern like present day car, I would look at the G30 540i, Bentley Continental GT. Yeah. So yeah, those are the immediate lists, dream car list that I have. All JDMs are overrated. Don't say like that. But yeah, too expensive. The what you call it? Recently I was browsing the Legacy prices, right? Legacy 0304 Legacy, right? It's like, when new, the Legacy is same price as my E39, but right now it's double the price. It's still like asking for 40k. Some are asking for 35, but very few units to choose from, to be honest. S2000 300k. The S2000 pricing, right, is the work of our friend that one. The guy, our friend who got his girlfriend pregnant. NSX GTR, crazy. The GTR, the GTR 35, right, is a car that I've always when I was young, because that car is like 12 years old, right? So when we first read about that car, we were all very young. And it was a car that always fascinated me, but I always liked reading about that car, but there never was that urge for me to I dream of a GTR. It's not a car that I would put up, on my poster. Yeah, the GTR to me has always had this very weird, relationship whereby I have great admiration for the car, but it never gave me that want factor. Yeah. Yes. Now come, you want toy? Wow, 1 hour 24 minutes, 1.5 hours already. Toyota Serra. My mother's neighborhood has one Toyota Serra. Yeah. .640i coupe. Actually, I don't mind the 640i. Ask Bobby sponsor company car, most saw lah. You think company not printing money, man? If we survive COVID-19 stronger and better, why not? Bobby will buy you the E63. Civic Hybrid 2012. When want to review your Aston? Okay, soon. Let's do it. Second-hand value cost 7,500 to change inverter. Second-hand value around 35k. Keep the car, drive to the end, or sell and get a second-hand Velocity. If you ask me, if you can't stomach the repair bills, bro, just sell it. Just sell it while you still can get some money rather than nothing. Yeah, Bobby also says sell it. How much I like the first Mazda MPV. Yeah, 3.6 V6, 3 liter V6 all-wheel drive, 3 watts per cylinder. Oh yeah. Yes. Okay, sorry, just now, terlepas kejap. Okay, so waiting for the right time to sell my G0140i. Wow. Oh yeah, you from Australia, right? Car before drop top, Satria GTI. Now Satria GTI has never fascinated me. Putra maybe. Putra maybe, but GTI no. Yeah, no. Or actually the Vera 1.8 twin cam will but no, Satria GTI no doesn't. Yeah, as Bobby says it's overrated. But to me, there's not even that appeal. And the fact that it's a car that you drive and you can't park anywhere that you can't see, because it's either the car itself will be stolen, or some badge, or your lights, or your wheels will be stolen. Beza Advance or Premium X Hafifi. Are you buying to do Grab? If you are buying to do Grab, then okay lah. But to me, I don't see a difference in either. It's really a matter of your choice. If you must buy the Beza, I think Advance is good enough. But have you also considered? Yeah, actually at that budget, a Myvi actually to me is a better choice. Do not buy a new car to do Grab. Okay, do not buy a new car to do Grab. Yes. Yeah, guys. So anybody haven't renewed insurance yet? Anybody need to renew car insurance? Remember, check EvoClub insurance. You can get 40% savings. Okay, and and the thing is that you can use it to. It's not just savings, but also you can use it to stagger your insurance payment into three payments. Yeah. BMW 6 Series, damn reliable. You sure you are E39 owner or not, JR Segar? Reliable. I mean, yes. Hey, but Bobby, your 6 Series don't have the melting plastics problem like the F10s and F30s, right? As the last time I sat in your car, I don't remember that. Lawrence Ho, 2016 NX or new Harrier Turbo. NX lah, if you ask me. Yeah, because your 6 Series is more ATAS grade. 2011 S5 or 2012 535i. S5 is more exciting. It's more exciting to drive. And it's a more what do you call it? it depends on what you're looking for, right? If you're looking for a sporty drive, S5. If you're looking for a more mature product, then the 535. The 535 is a very low, it's a very low key car, right? Because people look at your 535, unless they know how to spot the twin tailpipes, they can't distinguish your car from a 520 or a 528. Okay, but whereas if you are 535, whereas when you're an S5, you make more. It's a more sporty car. It's a more expressive car. Mohammed Zairin, CX-5 2.2D or new X70. If they are about the same price, actually I'll go for the CX-5. Although the X70 is a good choice too, but I would say CX-5 diesel. Be sure to have it with all-wheel drive. Joshua Fu, when can we see another video of Connie? Ask HP Tan for that. You prefer Lexus interior, Bobby? Are you sure? So you prefer the Harrier's interior, but Harrier interior. But well, Harrier obviously is more practical also, to be frank, right? It's a slightly bigger car, and it doesn't feel any less presentable compared to the NX. But it's just that I think there's a wider, bigger array of premium materials in the NX compared to the Harrier. KY, your F10 3.0 ended up on the guardrail on Jalan Duta. Oh my God, what happened? But glad you're alive to tell us about that lah. Yeah, okay, so there are recommendations for a used Suprema S or an Inspira versus the Beza, and I'm always partial to the Inspira. Harrier interior is prettier for me. Okay, yeah, that's true. Yes, why Saga doesn't have? Okay, see you, Bobby. Why COC asks, why Saga doesn't have the 1.6 engine choice right now? Simply put, if they put the Saga 1.6 in the Saga, it overlaps with the Persona. So that's the only reason why. And honestly, right, I don't understand why the Saga and Persona were not just developed as one model. Proton really could have saved a ton of their development costs by consolidating the Saga and Persona into one model, offer it as 1.3 and 1.5 liter engine and 1.6. That's it, done. All right, you have served both the market segments already. Raymond Pang, will 2.5 turbo all-drive Mazda 3 make its way to Malaysia? Current indications are no. Second hand, Civic 1.5 turbo versus Passat 2.0. Passat. Japanese manual used car under 60k. Sure got lah, I think, but I just can't think of any right now. 7-seater and comfy, should I go for expander? Budget 7-seater and comfy, go for an expander. You can, or you can get a used first gen S-Max at half the price and save the other half for repairs. Daily or family use, Ford Ranger or CRV? Of course CRV. Okay lah guys, thank you so much for all your time. We'll do this again definitely. It's time for me to attend to my other affairs. But COC asked 2009 and 2010 Honda City still reliable? Let me tell you, it is. Go and search my videos. I reviewed a used 2010 Honda City recently that was badly abused by its previous owner, and it still held out well. So yeah, that generation Honda City I highly recommend to anybody searching in the used car market. Okay, so thank you all guys. Definitely more will come, and everybody stay safe. And you know, since COVID-19 is still out there, definitely there'll be more used videos. Okay, thank you all for joining us. Take care. Have a great evening. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers guys.